I am not a professional, and this video is not intended to be professional advice. This is not a comfortable spot. So welcome back, everybody. We are finally getting into some nice temperatures this year. We have been unseasonably hot here for a really long time, and it's nice that we're getting some cooler weather, but that has gotten me thinking about the things that we have to do here in order to get the house ready for that first fire of the winter. Now, we enjoy heating with wood here because it's just economical for us. We live in the middle of the woods, so we've got easy access to a lot of firewood. I enjoy the self-sufficiency of heating our house with firewood, and I enjoy lighting a fire on a good cold night and keeping the fire going, the smell of the smoke, and there's just really nothing like it. You can't really quite replicate that feeling with an electric furnace. But there are some things that have to be done in order to get the house ready for that. We got the leaves off of the roof. There's always a chance that an ember could get out of the chimney and set the roof on fire, which would be a real problem, obviously. We have to get the junk out of the chimney, make sure the chimney is swept out good and clean, and we'll get the house properly prepared for that first fire this year. So let's get off of the roof, let's get the insert out of the fireplace, and we'll check and see what all needs to be done. So what I usually do every year after the very last fire is I leave all the ash and junk inside of this insert, which is really not the best practice, but that's what I usually do. So let's check this out. If I'm right, all the junk, all the stuff from the last fire is still in here. So we're going to have to clean this stuff out first and then see if we can get the insert out. So a fair amount of this stuff is kind of surface creosote, but some of that is shiny creosote, which is really the worst type. If you look up there, you can see some of the shiny stuff. That's the stuff that's thick and it's been baked on for quite some time, and really that's the most dangerous stuff. We really need to try our best to get that stuff out of there. So let's get our brushes and get to scrub it and see what we can do. Alright, so we got a good bit of the stuff out from the fireplace. Let's go up to the top and scrub from the top down for a little while. I don't know how y'all can see this, but you can see up here as well we've got a good bit of the shiny black creosote. It's going to take a lot of scrubbing for that. We'll just do the best we can and see what happens. We can see a lot of the thin little flecks that are being carried by the air, carried by the draft of the chimney. They're being carried on out, so that's actually a pretty good sign. We're getting a lot of that junk out. There is a thin layer, it's a very thin layer of that shiny creosote, but if you look down there, I don't think the camera's going to pick it up. It's actually, you can see the terracotta liner actually coming through in places, and that tells me it's quite thin. So let's go down to the bottom. I've got another trick up my sleeve and see if we can, oh, that's a pretty good shot. I've got another trick up my sleeve to see if we can get some more of this junk out of here. So this is something that I've always been pretty skeptical about, and probably for good reason. But I've always seen these creosote sweeping logs in the stores, and I've always thought that just can't work. I mean, there's no substitute for a good chimney sweep. But I read some reviews and kind of read how it works, and we're going to give it a try. So the one that I got, it's called Creosote Buster. I got it from Home Depot, and apparently it's supposed to, I'm not sure if it actually burns the creosote off or if it just kind of makes it, there's a chemical reaction that makes it to where it just flakes off. Either way, what we're going to do is we're going to get this thing going, and we're going to do it according to the label directions on the log, and we're going to get it going, and then after everything cools off, we're going to sweep the chimney again and give it another good scrubbing and see if we can get some more of this junk off. So let's give it a try. The instructions say to get a good hot fire going for about 30 minutes and then throw the log just right in the middle of the firebox somewhere and let it go. So there we go. We'll just see what it does. Still pretty skeptical, but We'll see. So I'm up here at the top of the chimney again, and the fire is starting to die down a little bit. It's still roaring pretty good. It's still quite hot, but I wanted to come up and show y'all how much stuff is being dislodged. I mean, look at this. Look at all that junk that's coming out of that chimney now. Watch this when the draft gets to it. Lots and lots of little creosote flakes coming out of the chimney. Look at all that. So I don't really know if that's because the heat loosened everything up or it's because of that log. I'm not sure, but I do know that there's a lot of junk coming off of this chimney that was not coming off before. And it's little flakes, little creosote flakes like these right here. That's good, getting that stuff out. All right, guys, so the fire is out, and there's still quite a bit of residual heat coming out of this chimney. It'll be doing that for a few hours now, but let's take a look down in here and see what it looks like now. So I hope you can see this, but there at the very bottom you can see where we brushed. There's a ton of creosote chips or flakes or whatever you want to call them right down there that have come to rest. I'm not even sure. There's a curve in the chimney from the fireplace to the straight portion of the chimney. Like I said, I'm not a professional, so I'm not sure what that's called. But anyhow, that's where all those creosote flakes have fallen. So I really am pretty impressed actually with what that little thing did. And now I'm not really sure if that was a result of just the heat, having a little bit of extra heat to dislodge this stuff, or if it was a result of that log we put in there. Either way, we're getting quite a bit more creosote flakes out of this chimney than we were when we were just scrubbing it. So let's do some more brushing on this thing and see if we can get it a little bit cleaner. So guys, that's all I've got for today's video. I really appreciate y'all watching. We were able to get quite a bit more junk out of the chimney after we put that log in there. I'm not sure if it was because of the log or was it because of the really hot fire that we had going in there that dislodged some stuff. But either way, I may use those logs some more because it seems to have worked. They actually say on the label that you'll get some residual effects from that log, maybe three or four burnings afterwards, so we'll just see. Maybe some stuff will fall out of the chimney this winter when we start burning on a more regular basis. But that's what I try to do every year. Try to give this chimney a good scrubbing every year. We actually had a chimney fire here 2 or 3 years ago, and it was actually a pretty scary experience. It was not a very bad chimney fire, but it was a chimney fire nonetheless, and that got me really alert about keeping this chimney scrubbed out and cleaned at least one time a year before we start burning wood on a regular basis. It's pretty cheap insurance, but it is pretty labor intensive. It's a dirty, nasty job. You're going to get your house dirty, you're going to get your clothes filthy, so if you are not interested in doing that, get a professional to do it. They'll be able to do a good job for you, and that'll give you a good bit of peace of mind as well. Some other things that you can do to make sure your chimney stays clean: make sure your wood is good and dry before you burn it. Burn your wood at a little bit hotter temperatures. Hotter temperatures tend to keep creosote buildup down. Smoldering, smoky fires, those are the ones where you get a good bit of creosote buildup. Don't burn pine, don't burn wood like that with a lot of pitch in it. That kind of stuff really gums up your chimney fast. But there's quite a few things that you can do to keep your creosote levels down and keep you safely enjoying your fire in your house over the winter time. That's all I've got. Make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here, and I will see y'all next time. Where you'll have less creosote buildup. I'm not 100% sure what that temperature is, but does he want to be on a video?
He did that, not me.
One night I get to watch TV.
You'll live through it. Kids in the 90s lived through it every day.
Why don't you watch a movie?
Hopefully tomorrow.
Make sure you picking your nose in there.
Oh man, I'm still on camera.